Hi, this is Ren, and this is All Walks of Film. So, Sony just came out with a new trailer for Venom. If you've been following my channel, you know that the first trailer, in my opinion, was not impressive. I think that was the general consensus for the film. I know some people are a huge fan of Eddie Brock and that character, and, any film featuring that character, they're excited about. But let's face it, Spider-Man 3 was not a good representation. And I know some people are really excited that Tom Hardy is playing the titular character. And I can understand a little bit of the excitement now that I've seen the second trailer. Now, that being said, there's still a little bit of concerns that I have with the trailer, but out of all the trailers that have been released recently, this was probably my favorite, which is kind of weird to say because I wasn't expecting that to happen. I was really disappointed with the Godzilla trailer. Now, granted, that's a minority opinion. I know a lot of people think that trailer looks amazing. I'm a hardcore Godzilla fan, so there are certain things that I'm going to pick up on that more casual fans and people who just kind of want to see the monsters, are a little bit more forgiving to it. Anyways, so getting on to this trailer, it actually features Venom, not just like a little thing at the end. And I did like the fact that they changed the design with the eyes to actually make it look like Venom and not like a cheap knockoff. They fixed that part because probably due to some fan outcries and Sony hasn't been making a lot of wise decisions lately. So that was probably a good choice. Now, given the fact that Disney has now merged with Fox, it'll be really curious to see how they're going to maintain the Spider-Verse and all that kind of stuff. Now, granted, Tom Holland has essentially been in both. He's Spider-Man Homecoming was technically a Sony film, but it was like a joint production. And I actually really like that film. And from what I've heard, they're going to try to incorporate Spider-Man in some way. Now, big spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen Infinity War. It's unclear whether Tom Holland, aka Peter Parker, would be the Spider-Man in this film. It is possible that Miles Morales might be, but I think Miles Morales is relegated to the Into the Spider-Verse movie, which looks amazing. Out of all the superhero trailers that I've seen this year of movies that haven't come out yet, by far, that's the one I'm the most excited about. But, this film does look interesting, although I do think that they're trying to push the dark and edgy a little too much, which might put some people off. Now, that being said, Venom is a really dark and edgy character, as well as Carnage. And if you watch just a little bit at the end, it's possible that Riz Ahmed, the guy that was in Star Wars Rogue One, as well as The Night of, and a really great film that I wish more people had seen, Four Lions. He was in that as well. He looks to be the guy that's going to be Carnage. Now, if you look at that last little bit of the trailer, you'd have to pause it. It does look like Tom Hardy's Venom is fighting another symbiote. And that symbiote, if you look really closely, it looks red. So I think they're hinting at him being Carnage. Now, to be perfectly fair, I have not followed the comics like other people have. So I'm not really sure where they're going with that. I do think it's cool that other people are taking the symbiote, like they're putting the symbiote into other people and It's manifesting itself in like interesting ways. Like the one guy that had like blades on his hands and everything like that. I thought that looked pretty cool. Does this movie look dumb? Yeah, but it looks like it could be the right kind of dumb. I am permissive of, kind of dumb fun if it's done right. The first trailer just looked boring, but now that we've seen Venom a little bit more, I'm kind of a little bit more into it right now. I still think Tom Hardy might not have been the best choice. Now, I think Tom Hardy is a great actor, but for this role, I'm a little weary about it. I think that they could have chosen, somebody else, and which is not to say that he won't do a good job in the role. It's just, I don't know. There's something about it that just rubs me off a little bit the wrong way. I guess part of that has to do with his somewhat laughable performance as Bane in The Dark Knight Rises, which I know some people don't care about this, but why did you have to whitewash that role? Why couldn't it have been a Latino? Because for those of you who follow the comics, Bane is a South American luchador guy. And I know that might sound a little bit ridiculous to some people, but trust me, it kind of works in the comics. There is definitely a heavy inspiration of Che Guevara with the character, and I would have liked to seen a little bit more with that. Now, going back to this Venom trailer, it does look like they're trying to push an R rating. However, given the fact that I've heard rumors that they're trying to get Spider-Man into the film somehow, they might push the rating down. And, the fact that Disney is taking over Fox, I think we're going to say bye-bye to any future R-rated Marvel characters, which makes me really sad because I was really looking forward to an X-23 movie. X-23 was the breakout star from Logan. Daphne Keane was absolutely amazing, and I really would have liked to have seen her in another movie along with Deadpool. I've enjoyed Deadpool 1 and 2, and especially with the whole James Gunn thing going on. Now, granted, that hasn't been thrown at any of the stars, but I feel that type of humor might not be allowed in under the House of Mouse. Now, on to some of the negatives. I really don't like the color choices that they've made. It's dark. There's not a lot of variety, and anything outside of Venom just looks kind of bland. There's not really a big sense of production design or anything like that, and I find that a little bit disappointing, especially in comparison with the last Spider-Man Homecoming. This looks very different. Now, like I said before, that was a Sony Disney conglomerate film, and this looks to be Sony only. Whether or not they are allowed to keep the character, or whether Disney kind of takes over, like they're taking over with Fantastic Four and now the X-Men, it is possible that they could lose Venom as well. But this should be an interesting venture. Whether or not it will get released or not, we've seen a lot of things be relegated to streaming. I'm curious if this is going to be a film that happens to as well. I know that they're still trying to push a theater release, but if the film itself is not up to Disney's caliber, also given the fact that it's rated R, I assume they might have a problem with that. So it will be really interesting to see what happens with that. So what do you guys think of the trailer? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for listening.